I slipped into VIP actually.
Let's
I don't mind
go.
saying snuck in. I don't mind saying.
Hey NFT community, welcome back to the NFT News Show. Today we're continuing our interview series with the founder of Good Mutant / Bad Mutant Twitter space. It is a Shield Tank / Shark Tank experience. We're pulling back the curtains of the NFT world and getting closer to the builders and influencers behind your favorite NFT communities and projects. Without further ado, let's introduce Zady. Zady, what's up? Zady in the building, in the NFT News building. How's it going, man?
I'm doing amazing, bro. Thank you so much for having me on, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing just as well. I'm privileged to have you on our show. Thank you so much for your time today, brother.
Pleasure being here.
So before we dive into the ZadyVerse of host of Good Mutant / Bad Mutant and content creator, let's talk about how we met. I think we met during NFT NYC, right?
Yeah, the pre-party. I forgot what it was called, but it was. Do you remember the name of that party? It was like
I think
not so bored party, right?
Yes, and then I think it was at that club called Somewhere Nowhere as well.
Yeah, New York City. Yeah, I remember.
I waited outside, felt like a groupie. I was like, "Oh my god, it's Zady!" And I called you Zaddy because I was so nervous.
That happens. That happens a lot. But I'm glad you corrected yourself. You said Zadie afterwards. I mean, you were pretty remarkable when I first met you. That's how I knew you were a world shaker because I had the merch and you had to say a password, and so you knew the password, so you dig your hand in and you pulled it out, and most people would just pull one out and then that's it, like they would leave. But you sparked the conversation. You asked for another one. And things like that I appreciate. Because it's like closed mouth don't get fed. And I respect the heck out of that. And then you told me you were there alone, which blew my mind because you were there alone and you were like confident. And I'm like, oh wow, so let's introduce him to some people, and see what we could do to make sure you're not alone, and I admire what you were doing and what you're doing now. I think, again, I keep saying it, but I feel like in 2 to 3 years you're going to be a very big household name in Web3.
Oh, oh my god! Like the back of my head is just feeling so many strong feelings right now. It's crazy.
Just my opinion.
That means a lot. Especially, I already know your story. I already know where you came from, and I already understand some of like you had to do in order to make it where you are. And so for you to be a leader of an example of what I'm trying to do, it's really dope to have the leader saying, "Look, the path, just keep on going, and
Wow.
and you will make it." Okay, so before we get into our 6 questions, can you tell us more about who you are and what you bring to the Web3?
My name is ZadyVerse. I fell into Web3 because my background is I'm a huge video game player. I love video games. I'm a filmmaker, and by trade, I'm a real estate investor. This is how I make my income. And when I started to learn about NFTs, I realized that NFTs are bridging digital with the real world. And video games, in my mind, the metaverse is a video game. And so, I've been in the metaverse since the 80s when I was born playing video games. And I figure now it's time for mainstream to come into the metaverse. So that's the video game portion. The filmmaking portion of me is like the storytelling. So we're all kids. I feel like we're all like Peter Pan essentially in the NFT community, and storytelling is what NFT projects need to do. So there, boom, that's attached. And then you get into real estate, which is a real life asset. And my belief on NFTs is everything right now that's a digital piece of paper is going to be an NFT. It's going to be a smart contract eventually. Deeds to houses, car notes, all these things I feel like eventually are going to be NFTs. So I just had to just jump in. So I kind of left everything else I had in the real world and I'm like, I need to start building in Web3. And that's what started my journey.
All right, what a beautiful introduction of Zady. Now let's jump into the first question. Is there a story as to how you acquired the amazing looking mutant board ape number 29506 / Stanley?
Oh, you already know his name. That's Stanley, and that's Dippy right there too. We got Dippy is the bird, so I call him Dippy because I bought the ape on the dip. So that's why we got Dippy.
Okay.
I'm a real estate investor, so I have properties that I flip. And one of the properties that I was originally planning on holding onto as a rental, I decided, when the NFT market went down a little bit and the price of Mutant Apes went from 40 ETH to about 20, I thought it was a good time to buy. I knew that, maybe this wasn't the floor, but I just felt like it was the time for me to make my move. So I sold my house, I got the funds, and then I purchased some of the profits I flipped into the NFT, and I bought the mutant. When I saw Stanley, who is Stanley now, I saw the hat, I saw the bird, and I just felt like this would be a brand that I could build off of. And I bought it as a statement, because NFTs are, everyone talks about IPs and do we really have ownership? Do we not have ownership? Is it
Mm-hmm.
just a hyperlink to a JPEG picture? I wanted to jump in and test it out. So I decided to buy it and I decided to use it as the marketing engine, create multiple businesses based off of the IP to generate me enough money to get my money back on the initial investment. So I'm not really worried about the floor price. I'm not worried about airdrops. I just have the IP and I'm going to utilize it to get my money back. I'm about 1/5 of the way there so far
Mm-hmm.
to get recoup my initial investment. But I think in another 4 to 5 months, we should be at a point where the initial investment on what was spent on the ape is made back, and now we're just in the profit.
Yes, amazing. So you're just a natural businessman where you just climb your way up to the next by using the previous asset to launch yourself further. So that is how you acquired your ape, is that you sold an asset because you saw that another asset has so much more potential.
And the market condition mattered too, right? So one of my old mentors taught me this. He said,
Mm.
you want to buy when everyone is scared and you want to sell when everyone is buying. So when I saw my real estate, I'm like, hey, we're probably at the top of the market. The real estate market is going up, and NFTs and crypto, they're going down.
Yes.
So why not sell while going up and buy while going down? I missed the bottom, like I
Yeah.
feel like it was still a good time to buy. I went to Ape Fest and I was able to flip some things because of that experience. So I don't regret it at all.
We're actually gonna be touching upon your Ape Fest experience and what you brought to the Ape Fest and how this actually and what you pulled off will definitely accelerate you from 1/5 of almost being done to definitely like 3/4 being done like just like that. So that was question number one. Question number two, you were passing out these amazing NFT Bored Ape slash Mutant Ape keychain plush pillows all week for free during NFT NYC, giving away about over $3,500 in free merch in just 4 days. You even got a shout out from a DJ on stage at the NYC Ape Fest. It's been almost a month since that experience. Has your actions paid off?
I definitely think so. For me and the pillow guy who I partnered up with,
Mm,
who created the pillows. Our goal was to go to NFT NYC and have key conversations with as many of the founders as we could find.
mm-hmm,
Any
mm-hmm,
marketing team for the Bored Apes to
mm,
let them know, like, hey, this is what we're producing, and we want to see if there's any licensing opportunities, and if there isn't licensing opportunities, if we could develop these keychains for the community with an official backing from Yuga. So I met three of the five teams. I know there's four members,
wow.
but
That's
but
crazy.
Gaio Siri is known as the fifth ape. So I met him as well as Garga and Gordon. And
That's cool.
I slipped into VIP actually. I snuck in. I
Let's
don't mind
go.
saying it. I don't mind
Let's
saying
go.
it. Night to meet Gordon and have a conversation with them, and it was pretty crazy, man. And I kind of put the bug in all their ears about what we're doing, and yeah, we're still in touch right now to try to get that deal finalized. I don't know if it's going to happen, but the traction that was created because we attempted that
Mm-hmm.
was big, was huge. And even right now on my site, people could order them for free because I don't have the license, so I can't sell them. So I just
Mm.
I make sure if shipping is covered, I'll still send it to people. So I still wanted to give that opportunity to people to order them.
Wow. So it definitely did pay off.
I
Congratulations.
think so. Yeah, I think so. I
Oh,
think
I
it's still
think
paying
so.
off right now too. Yeah.
This the whole NFT NYC trip, it was to put face to our brand, to push our brand to a new level. And that's what that's what you did. Now the founders know who Zadie is. There's proof that there's love behind who you are and what you're offering. You got a shout out at Ape Fest. You went to Ape
Yeah, that
Fest
was
4 days in
crazy.
a row,
Yeah.
and you got you got extra days from the brand, the Board Ape company, Yuga Labs, correct?
They gave me 1 day, and then I just knew somebody that took me.
Yep.
Shout out to J Flow. He has a Enlightened Millionaire podcast. He took me one of the days, and then the next day somebody wanted one of the pillows, so they reached out to me. They're like, "Hey, I haven't been able to find you. And I'm like,
Mm.
yeah, I'm at Ape Fest. And he's like, oh, are you going in? And then I said, and his name is Snarls. I forgot his name, but I text him like every week now. Like we're friends. But
Oh,
he was, he was like, hey man, I got an extra ticket. I could get you in.
wow.
And I said, "Oh, no problem." So I gave him a bunch of merch in exchange for the last night of Ape Fest, which was amazing. The last night of
Yes.
Ape Fest was like when Eminem was there, Lil Wayne was there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty
I
amazing, man.
missed Lil Wayne because I was still by the food trucks trying to get my way into the venue.
Oh, okay.
Um, but I made it into the venue 10 minutes before Snoop Dogg and Eminem came on and blasted us with the first time premiere of their amazing Bored Ape music video, and just overall like the Snoop Dogg experience was just like classic good vibes.
I'll share the story about how I snuck in if you care to know. I'll definitely say I don't want to pull any punches. I just feel like in Web3, if the founders or whatever found out that I snuck in, they would appreciate it. They would appreciate that drive. I don't feel like
Yes.
it's a negative thing. I feel like you got to make things happen. Now maybe people look at it as a negative, but I did it. I got to lie in the bed that I made, so I own it.
It must be a nice plushy bed because to me it was worth it. Now, how did you sneak into the VIP?
Oh man. Okay. So Snoop was DJing on stage and he had his like strippers and everything, right? So
Yeah.
my phone. This is the last night. I'm supposed to fly out at 5 a.m. the next day, right? And it's like 10 o'clock right now or 9:30. They're about to shut things down
Mm-hmm.
because Ape Fest would close at 10.
Yes.
So I'm like, yeah, I need to sneak away and charge my phone. So I went to like the Polygon Lounge, which was in the corner. I hooked up my phone to the charger and it's like charging. And then some people came and they were talking to me, but I had to pee. And I'm like, damn, I got to pee. And you can't pee anywhere upstairs
Mm.
unless you're in the VIP area. And I couldn't get in there.
Well, it's called the
So,
VIP for a reason.
yeah, VIP, NFTea. No, never mind. I messed it up. So, so I had to go downstairs to the second level to pee. But when you go downstairs at that time, they're not going to let anybody back upstairs because it's like there's an escalator going down
Yes,
and you circle
yes.
around to the bathroom and then they just funnel everyone out the building because it's already close to 10 o'clock and
Mm-hmm.
everyone's got to go. So I'm like, whatever, I'll just make it. I went downstairs, I peed, I tried to go back up, they didn't let me in. I tried to sneak past the security guard and he's like, oh no, you can't go upstairs, you can't go upstairs to the party area. And
What?
then I'm like, I gave him this bullshit story.
Let's go.
I know I lied, but I'm like, yeah, my brother's up there. I don't want to leave him here. He's like, oh no, you can wait down here. This is the only exit. Just wait down here. He'll come.
Um,
And
oh,
I'm like, oh, they got that figured out, man. I'm like, whatever. I'll just run. They won't say anything. So I like booked it past the security guard. Boom. I ran up the escalator.
let's
He's
go.
like, security's gonna catch you. Come back down. And I'm like, I can't. I gotta find my brother, bro. And then I just ran upstairs. And then I feel security in back of me, like chasing me. And I'm
No.
pretending that I'm looking for my brother. So I'm running. To the corner. I'm like, Jared. I don't know why I just made up that name. Jared. Jared. My brother's name is not Jared. So I'm like running, and then security is chasing me. They're like, yo, man. And I turn around. I'm like, look, man, I'll leave right now, but I don't give a shit what that guy said. I got to find my brother. I can't find him. And the guy's like, hey, listen, I understand. No problem. I understand. And I'm like, really? Like, you're going to just let me like hang out here? And they let me go. So they're funneling everybody outside, and I curve my way back into the Polygon Lounge, and I see like outside one of the famous apes. I don't want to say his name to blow him up right now, but
Yep,
but
yep.
shout out to you. You know who you are. He's sitting down and he looks like a sultan. He's got like this cushion and he's sitting down on the chair, and then I go, hey, what's up, bro? And we start chopping it up, and then security is like coming up to us like, you guys got to go right now. They're telling everybody, you guys got to leave, we're right outside of the VIP entrance. And then he leans back, he goes, I'm gonna take a 24-second clock on that one. And he's basically saying like, he's gonna wait until they actually force us to leave. So I'm like, I'm with that.
Mm.
So we're waiting, and then we both hear one of the security guards talk to somebody, and they were talking to somebody at VIP, and they're like, look, man, we're not telling you got to leave, but just go back inside. Go back in VIP if you're a VIP. And then we kind of look at each other like, all right, we're VIP. So we get up and we start walking our way to the VIP entrance. And I know when you're trying to sneak in somewhere, no eye contact. You can't have any eye contact with security. So I start having a BS conversation with them about his charger. Like, hey, bro, what's your phone charger on? Is it 20%? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm low. Can I charge it? But I was like at 80 at that point. I'm like, oh, do I charge my phone? This, that. And we're going past security. Security opens the door. I'm like, thank you. And then we go back and we're talking, blah, blah, blah. We slip through like 4 or 5 guards, and then
Wow.
boom, we're in VIP. So the VIP looks like where the center of the dock is for the Bored Ape Yacht Club? Like, what is that called? Like the clubhouse? It looked
Yes.
just like the clubhouse. We're inside. It said Bored Ape Yacht Club, like in neon lights, and
What?
everybody is chilling there. And me and my boy are there. And we're like, dude, we wonder if we're going to see any famous people here. So we go outside and we start like chopping it up. And I have my bag full of goodies. And I start like playing the game. I'm like, hey, reach into the bag. And I start doing that with some of the VIP guys. One of the guys worked for the LA Times.
What?
Another guy was like an OG ape. Like he's been there. He has like 8 apes. So anyways, we start chopping it up. And then my guy tells me, he goes, hey, bro, did you meet all the founders? I go, no, I haven't met them all. I met Garga. But I really wanted to meet Gordon and everybody else too if I could. And he's like, I think I saw Gordon inside. So we go inside and I see Gordon right there. And
Wow.
then I'm like, dude, I got to talk to him. And this is, by the way, this is when that YouTube video came out and all this stuff is going on, right? So there was a video about like the Bored Ape Yacht Club being associated with like Nazis. And
Oh, like this
I
Ryder Rips thing?
yeah, Ryder Rips
Oh.
did something. He created that video, and then some other guy, Affilian, made a YouTube video on it. And
Mm.
I did a bunch of research on Ryder Rips, and I know that Ryder Rips was trolling Bored Ape Yacht Club. He actually wanted to be sued. So I went to his Twitter Spaces, and like he was saying it, he goes, "Dude, I'm trolling them. They're trolls. I want to make sure that I do what I do. The only way to get attention in society is to be a troll." So he was going off that aspect, but again, there's a big thing. You're talking about
Yeah, this is
racism,
huge.
right? So I wanted to have a conversation with Gordon about that too, but I can't just meet him off the bat and say that. So I needed to talk
No.
about something else. So, I started talking about the pillows. I brought up the pillows. He goes, "Oh my God, they're so awesome." And I
Yes.
gave him like the Bored Ape one. And then I gave him a mutant one. He goes, "What, a mutant?" And I gave him like a
Oh.
serum. And he's like, "Oh, serum." So he was like really into it. I'm like, Gordon,
Oh
I
my
want to
God.
I want to do this with you guys. I'm not really looking to get rich off this stuff, but I just think the community would appreciate it. And he's talking to me and he's like, "Oh, these are awesome." I go, "Can I get your phone number?" And he's like, and he looks around and he's like, "If I gave you my phone number, a lot of people would be really pissed off." But he gave me his email address, personal email address. He gave me the CEO's email address, and I think the marketing department's email address.
Wow.
So we're talking, and then I'm like, hey, and I just, I developed good rapport with him, and then I'm like, hey, Gordon, what's up with this Fillion and Ryder Rips video, bro? What are you gonna, what's Yuga gonna do about this guy, bro? Like, this is tarnishing our brand. And he looks at me, he goes, I don't know what this fucking guy, I don't understand where he gets all this shit. He goes, I'm Jewish, bro. He goes, do you know
Mm.
how my grandma feels about this shit? He goes, this is insane. And then
Wow.
I'm like, and I just start chopping it up with him, and he was like really emotional,
Yeah.
and he was just like, I don't know. He goes, we're gonna do something. I don't really know what we're gonna do. The next day, they filed a lawsuit. By the way, the next day, Yuga Labs filed a lawsuit against Ryder Rips and the guy Paulie. But
Did you think that you
yeah, it
had
was crazy.
influence on that?
Dude, my ego did. I'm
Ah.
pretty sure there's no way that in reality, I had any influence. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, I talked to Gordon, and then this happened. I'm
No.
like Wiley will, because his name is Wiley, right? So he's like, Wiley will always remember that, I was the one that had that conversation before. But I mean, honestly, it's such a big company, like that. There's no way that I had any kind of influence over that. So,
Mm.
but it was obviously they were just pushed to a certain point, to force their hand essentially. But yeah, that's
Wow.
my and because I slipped into VIP, when I was leaving, everyone got posters, and like I left so late that there weren't any more posters left. So I missed the day 4 poster,
No.
unfortunately. Yeah, so I have day 1 through 3, and I don't have day 4, but that's
Um,
okay. I mean, it was well worth the experience.
Moving on to question number 3. During these bear market times, what are you personally doing in the NFT community to survive these hard times?
Oof, good point, man.
Thank you.
A lot of people, people say they're flippers. From what I've seen, if you don't have that inside information, and again, as of right now, insider information on NFTs is like fair game for some reason. But if somebody is a part of a community and they know when an announcement is coming, I just feel like people like that are the only ones really making money at this in a market like this, because you just don't know, unless you know. So I'm not a trader. I don't do any of that stuff. What I'm doing is just building the
Mm.
brand,
Mm-hmm.
and giving an opportunity for other people to utilize their IP the way I'm utilizing my IP. So I feel like I'm utilizing my IP to make profit,
Yeah.
and a lot of people have that same need. So as a business person, I feel like if I fulfill that need, and I have a big network of people, if I could take my connections and combine them with people that want to utilize their IP, I got a business. And that's what I'm doing. That's what we're doing with Good Mutant, Bad Mutant. We're giving people an opportunity. Good Mutant, Bad Mutant, we talk about news, we talk about security, which I'm very big on. A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
don't teach you how to save your crypto and your NFTs. They just teach you how to spend it. So like they don't teach you how to protect it or save it. And again, it's like financial literacy for NFTs, right? So
Right.
we do financial literacy for NFTs. We do big news. We do kind of like rumors, and then we do shilling. And our shilling space is a little different. We don't normally do what other people do. Other shilling spaces, they either everybody throws praise, or they give them a chance to talk for 10 seconds and then they cut him off and kick him off and they go to the next one. And I've talked to a lot of artists, and they're so emotionally distraught by that
Mm.
process.
Mm.
So I used to host other shilling spaces like the shilling game with Bavugar. I used to host that. Travis, the bullish trader, he has his own shilling space. I hosted that with him a couple times. Skirpy has his space. These are big
Oh.
shilling spaces. So what I did is I'm like, I want to do a little bit different. I want to train people, use my marketing background to
Mm.
help educate people on how they could position their NFT collection in a way where um, it people will buy their NFTs more. So we give constructive criticism. We give people praise. We have good mutant, and then we have bad mutant. So if somebody says, for instance, "Hey, I'm gonna make a video game, a metaverse," the bad mutant will come out and shout out to my partner Booksweeper. He's a key part of the process. He's my partner in a Good Mutant, Bad Mutant. So shout out to you, Booksweeper. Um, he's usually the bad mutant because he just has a really good bullshit meter. So he'll come out and he'll say like, "Oh, you're gonna make a metaverse, huh? How many games have you designed in your life? Oh, none. Okay. Do you have a game developer that has already been working on the game? No. When are you releasing your collection? 2 weeks? Okay, bro, sorry, but you're full of shit. You need to go back to the drawing board, because
Love
if
it.
you don't have a game dev and you're not a developer, how the hell are you going to fulfill what you're selling to your audience? You're not. You're going to screw them over, and you're probably going to rug them. And that's just conversations people don't have. And
Yes.
we're doing it in a way where it's different, because we're not saying you're a scammer. Peace. We're saying, look, maybe you're just a little too ambitious for what you're doing. You
Ah.
need to focus on doing these things. Hey, by the way, we have developers. We could plug you in and slow down your project, hire the developer, and
Uh-huh.
do it right. And that's just what we do. And I'm really excited about next week's episode, bro, because we're
Mm.
implementing a scoreboard. And what we're going to do is all the judges are going to rate each project, and people could go to our website for Good Mutant, Bad Mutant and see the rating of these projects. They could click and they could see the team involved. They could see the smart contract. And this is the best part. So
Wow.
anybody that's shilling is going to have a shilling score. So if you've come on our show and you've shilled, and that project you're shilling is a rug, guess what? Your shilling score is going to be low, and everyone's going to know that when you shield the project, the last one was a rug. So
Wow.
we want to protect the community. So we don't want to give an opportunity for everyone to come shill,
Wow.
and there's no protection. So we're doing that, and then also this is a little bit too much alpha, but I'll cut it a little bit short. But and that's what we're working on.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Too much
Holy.
information, huh?
Oh my God. Oh.
I'm humbled, bro. I'm humbled. Thank you.
You are definitely freaking building. Holy crap. Thank you so much for sharing. Oh my God. That alpha. Thank you so much for just working excuse my language, but working your ass off. It makes me so happy that people are using their power in spaces and putting that into a product. And that is what you are doing. You are putting the space that you created, the good mutant, bad mutant. I am so glad to just be part of this journey from the audience, from the stands as a fan. And I and I can't wait just to hear more progress on the hard work that you and Books put in and day out. So moving on to question number 4. You are a content creator, especially doing very well on the application TikTok. I was scrolling through actually your videos, and you mentioned that 46 is your favorite number. Why is 46 your favorite number?
Oh man, you did some digging, bro. 46 is my favorite number because when I was a kid growing up, the athlete that I would see on TV the most was Michael Jordan.
Wow.
And Michael Jordan, I didn't like Michael Jordan. He always beat my favorite players. Magic Johnson, he beat his ass. Then I wanted him to lose. So Clyde Drexler, I was cheering for him. He beat him. And then Charles Barkley, one day, Magic Johnson retired. Charles Barkley jumped out with Magic Johnson's jersey number. And I'm like, oh, I love Charles Barkley. He respects Magic. I'm a Charles Barkley fan. They go to the NBA Finals. Boom, Jordan wipes the floor with Barkley. And Jordan always beat everybody. After he learned to overcome the obstacles of the Detroit Pistons, he never lost. And I always looked at Jordan. Jordan taught me to hate anybody. He taught me how to appreciate greatness. So when somebody is doing amazing, I never hate them now. Now I always look at them like, hey, Michael Jordan taught me not to hate greatness, appreciate it. So 46 is my aspiration because I want to be 2 times better than Michael Jordan. And 23 plus 23 is 46. So that's why 46 is there as a reminder to me to always push, to strive, to do more than what Michael Jordan has done. I had no idea Michael Jordan would do what he did off the court, on the court, and create this huge empire. So I don't know what the hell I got myself into, but it's my favorite number. And again, I got to lay in the bed that I made. So yeah, 46 is my number.
So we're about to run out of time with our interview, but we got to do what we do best, and that's give rapid questions to our interviewer, Zady. Okay, so the rule is I'm going to give you a rapid question, and you can only use one word to answer that rapid question. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's get it. On a scale of 1 through 10, how confident are you in Yuga Labs winning the court case against Ryder Rips?
10.
Amazing. Which category will cement NFTs permanently into the culture of our society? Music NFTs or gaming NFTs?
Music.
I totally agree with you. The next rapid question is, does pineapple belong on pizza?
No.
Oh. Now, do you miss working in real estate?
I still work in real estate. I'm going to work in real estate for the rest of my life.
We got one more rapid question to ask you, Zady. I think you already answered, but I want to hear it again. You went to all 4 nights of Ape Fest at NYC. What was your favorite night out of all the 4 nights?
This is supposed to be a one answer. How? No, I'm saying I can't explain. I have to just say a number.
Yes.
Yeah, night 4.
Night 4. Okay, there's no rhyme or reason. It is night 4 officially. Well, that is officially our interview with the one and only ZadyVerse, host of Good Mutant / Bad Mutant with Books. Hope you enjoyed our second interview in our Metaverse, the NFT News Show. We dive into the NFT community and reveal what's happening behind the scenes. But before we end our time, let's do what we love to do, and let's end on a high note. Zady, may you give us a quote, a phrase, or a way of life that has led you to this moment?
Yeah. Shooters shoot.
Shooters shoot. Short and simple. Thank you so much, Zady. I'm honored to have you in our newsroom.
It's been a pleasure being here. Really from the bottom of my heart, seeing what you're doing and then you inviting me here, bro. It's pretty damn cool, bro, because we're literally creating the future. And this is going to be very memorable for both of us.
Until next time. Bye-bye.